Hey, good morning, Central Region. Kyle asked me to post a video with some tips and keys of how we created almost $14,000 in new business and $20,000 in total business this week in Salt Lake City. One reason, it's the push. It's the freaking push. And you want to go, even if you're not going to win a trophy at the push, you want to go to the conference on a roll. You want to go having created a lot of momentum in September and the first week of October. And so I'll just say it's the push. That's the reason that we created business in our office this week, is that we talked about the push before the push, we talked about the push during the push, and we're continuing to talk about the second weekend of the push being bigger than the first. And no matter where you're at, if you have or haven't been going and working hard to get the push going, you can make the second half of the push bigger because of your decision. So that's number one. Number two, I want to say that we've created, in order to create new business in our office, is consistency. And like last week, I was a little perturbed that we didn't do as much new business as we wanted to. And then John's posting the $12,000 new business week, and his tips were awesome. I'll borrow from those in a second. But consistency and effort. We've been on campus every single week since week 4 of August. And week 4, week 5, week 1, week 2, week 3 of September, 5 weeks we've been on campus, 2, and I'll say really 3 days a week we've had presence on campus. And so number one thing is consistency in campus attack every week, week in, week out, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 days. You should make sure that there's presence each week, because you're going to create new business. It's going to happen one week different than another, and some weeks will be bigger than others. But that's the thing, is consistency. Consistency is kind of like the rep who pops an ultimate set or a grand day during a push, because they're just consistently working. Second thing is we've had a constant PR focus. We haven't been number 1, we haven't been number 2, but we've been focused on getting a lot of PRs each week in our office. So our consistent PR program helps us launch. Last week we launched 13, and I think 3 or 4 were PRs, and 7 were campus, and then a couple from Webs and Craigslist, or Web, I think. And then the number second. So campus is number 1, consistency tip. Number 2 is PR focus all week, each week. And then number 3 is 10 to 12 interviews a week. We're not cutting corners. We're not shortcutting anything to maybe recruit. We're making sure that we have lots of times to offer. Receptionists have a better efficiency when they have a lot of options to offer the applicants or the people calling, or the PRs that they're calling, whatever IAPs. So 10 to 12 interviews is what's happened every week. Where we could improve on real quick, we need to improve on off-campus touches. We need to improve on show to training, and we need to improve on rep driven. So there's areas of improvement in the Salt Lake City office, even though we just, we're at 20 some odd thousand new business for the month of September, and I'm excited about lunch at SLC, right? And I'm excited about P Banquet. That's what I'm really very excited about. And so, the note I have here is that if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, when you're supposed to be doing it, then good things will happen. It may not happen that week, and everybody knows that. If a rep just keeps working in a push, good things happen. And if you think about the month of September, if you think about SLC push, if you think about your fall campaign, especially if you're in your first or second fall campaign, I can testify after this many years of working the fall campaign, if you keep working, good things are going to happen. And if you keep working when you're supposed to be working, good things are going to happen. You're going to pop a 10K week. What did Kyle say last week? We had one 10K week last year during the fall in new business. And as far as our launch, we launched 13 out of 14, and I think we had a 30 some set. So we had like a 40% show, which was a step up from the last couple of weeks. So that helped us, by the way. Improving our show to training is like an extra nugget right there. That's one of the reasons why we were able to launch as what we launched. 13 for 14 launch means our launch was good. We had an 8 demo average. Something that we average, that we focus on getting, and we had a $10,000 new business first weekend pop from 13 reps. How do we get that? As far as new business, again, this is major for new business, right? Number 1, I had a laser focus in my welcome talk. So I made my move, so to speak, right before my day 1. We had just come off campus. I put on my best outfit, and I made sure that I had fun atmosphere as we started. We watched the Modern Marvels video. It's garden season. It's the end of the garden season, so we got like cucumbers and tomatoes growing out of every crevice in my house. So we cut up cucumbers and tomatoes before the welcome talk even happened. So they cut rope leather and veggies. And then I also, during the, while that was happening, I found out what school everyone was from before we even did intros, what school they were from. And, I knew that most of the group was students. So I actually focused some of my welcome talk and some of my comments throughout training on weekend business and how they're, if you're in school, you're going to do a lot on the weekend and not quite as much on the weekdays, right? So I knew my audience, I guess is the way to say. I was present in who was who in the opening talk or welcome talk, and I made sure that I had really, really consistent and focused eye contact with people as I said certain things that might apply to those people, or just anytime I was looking at a human being, which is all of training. I was really making sure that I looked them in the eye and I knew that they were going to sell Cutco. Borrowing from John's tip last week, is I didn't have to say it, and John talked about how he said it, and I think that's great, but I really knew that they were going to sell Cutco. I looked them in the eye and I'm like, you're selling Cutco, in my mind as I was saying what I was saying in day 1 and in day 2 and in day 3. Day 2, I didn't talk as much. I actually got done with training faster, and I followed the script, and every story I made, I actually abbreviated it a little bit, and I made the point that the story is supposed to make, and I moved on. I didn't embellish all the stories. I didn't talk too much. I hit the story, nailed the point of the story, and moved on. Okay, because stories do teach. And then I focused a lot on first promotion, how people are going to get their first sales this weekend and their first promotion. So a lot of talk about that throughout, salt and pepper through day 1 and day 2 and day 3 of getting their first sales and then their first pay raises and how cool it's going to feel. A lot of asking questions. Who wants to get that first promotion? All right, this is going to help you do it. And then day 3, I got the leaders to the high flyer meeting. So we had the day 3 high flyer meetings. We have a day 2 breakfast every single week, and we have a day 3 high flyers meeting every single week. I did send out 2 texts on Friday night. So we launched on Friday. I sent out 2 group web PDI texts. Just something like, hey, congratulations on your first sales. Remember to call after every demo. We've already had this and this sold. So like quick text. And then later in the evening, hey, continually great job, guys, on what's happening. Make sure you give us your final report for the night. And then I sent 1 group text on Saturday. I'm not saying that made it the big pop, but I love web PDI because it cost me 13 cents to send everyone a text, and it's awesome. So I did that on Saturday when they call in their first morning PDI report. I sent a quick text like in the middle of when they're supposed to call in, and that way the slackers remember to call in. And I talked to every single trainee on Saturday morning as well. And I promoted first sales and first sets and first prizes and what prize they've won and what their next prize is and how far away they are from their next prize. And then they got to advanced training with demos set. Through my first weekend PDI and through the contact and encouragement that I was giving of promoting, again, firsts and next, what their next prize is, how far away they are, and again, what their next step is, getting their next promotion and that type of thing. And then again, making sure they had demos set as they showed. Even if it was only a few, we did have about 1,000 or 2,000 after advanced training on Monday night. So of a 10K pop, 80% was done before Monday's advanced training, and then we had a couple grand on Monday night. So that really helped us cap off the week strong.